TV companies love adding fancy features with impressive names. True Motion, Quantum AI, 8K Resolution, CineSmooth Pro. They sound premium. They make you think you're getting something special. And here's the truth. Most of them are completely useless. I've tested hundreds of TVs. I've seen what people actually use versus what they pay extra for. And today, I'm exposing 8 features that waste your money. Some of these you've heard of. Some sound so good you might be considering them right now. But by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which features to ignore and which ones actually matter. We're starting with the feature that almost everyone turns off within the first week. Feature number 8, motion smoothing. Tom Cruise has publicly spoken out against this feature, even recording a message asking people to disable it. Let me explain why. Motion smoothing, also called True Motion, Motion Flow, or Auto Motion Plus, is destroying the way movies look. Here's how TV companies sell it. Smoother motion, clearer action scenes, reduced blur. Sounds great, right? Here's what it actually does. Movies are filmed at 24 frames per second. Your TV runs at 60 Hz to 240 Hz. Motion smoothing creates fake frames and inserts them between the real ones. The result? The soap opera effect. Your favorite movie suddenly looks like cheap daytime television. Mission Impossible stops looking cinematic and starts looking like a home video. Filmmakers despise this feature. Directors have publicly asked people to turn it off because it destroys their artistic vision. That carefully crafted 24 frames per second cinematic look gets replaced with artificial hyper-smoothness. Here's the worst part. Most TVs ship with it enabled by default. It's buried deep in submenus under confusing names. You watch your first movie and something feels wrong. Does it help with sports? Maybe slightly, but it creates weird artifacts. Ghosting, stuttering, unnatural judder. Bottom line, motion smoothing makes movies look worse, not better. Don't pay extra for advanced motion processing. But feature 7 is even more expensive and even more useless. Feature number 7, 8K resolution. TV companies want you to believe this is the future. It's not. It's a complete waste of money. Let me break down the numbers. 8K means 7,680 by 4,320 pixels. That's 33 million pixels on your screen. Sounds incredible, right? Here's the problem. There's virtually zero 8K content available. No streaming services offer it. No cable providers broadcast it. No Blu-rays exist in 8K. YouTube has maybe a dozen 8K videos, mostly tech demos. So what are you watching in 8K? Upscaled 4K content. Your TV is guessing what those extra pixels should look like. It's fake detail. But here's the bigger issue. You can't even see the difference. To benefit from 8K, you'd need to sit extremely close to a massive screen. We're talking 85 inches minimum, sitting less than 5 feet away. Most people sit 8 to 10 feet from their TV. At that distance, even on an 85-inch screen, your eyes physically cannot distinguish 8K from 4K. The human eye has limits. TV manufacturers know this. But 8K sounds premium. It sounds future-proof. So they do a feature you literally cannot use. Want to know what's worse? That money could have gone toward better picture quality, brighter panels, better local dimming, superior color accuracy. Features that actually improve what you watch every single day. Bottom line, 8K is marketing hype. Save your money for features that matter. But feature 6 costs less and is somehow even more pointless. Feature number 6. Built-in cameras and gesture control. This feature sounded like science fiction when it launched. Now it's just expensive e-waste. Here's how they marketed it. Wave your hand to change channels. Make video calls on your big screen. Control your TV without a remote. The future of smart home interaction. Here's what actually happens. You use it once to test it out, maybe twice to show friends, then never again. Why? Because it's painfully slow. Waving your hand to change the volume takes 3 times longer than pressing a button. The camera struggles in different lighting. It misreads gestures constantly. Video calling sounds great in theory, but nobody wants to sit 10 feet away from their TV during a video call. You end up looking tiny on screen. The audio echoes. The camera angle is terrible. Everyone just uses their phone or laptop instead. And here's the real concern. Privacy. You now have a camera embedded in your TV, pointed at your living room 24/7. Yes, there's usually a physical cover. But that's one more thing to remember. TV manufacturers stopped pushing this feature years ago. Samsung discontinued it. LG moved on. Even they realized nobody wanted it. But here's the problem. Some TVs still charge extra for this premium feature. You're paying $200 to $400 more for a camera you'll use twice and then cover up permanently. Bottom line, built-in cameras are a gimmick that failed. Don't pay extra for dead technology. But feature 5 was so bad, manufacturers completely abandoned it. Feature number 5, curved screens. Remember when every TV manufacturer claimed curved screens were the future? They were wrong. Dead wrong. Here's how they sold it. Immersive viewing experience. Wraps around your field of vision. Reduces glare. Creates a cinema-like feel. Sounds amazing, right? Here's the actual reality. Curved screens only work if you sit directly in the center. Move even slightly to the side and the picture gets distorted. Colors shift. Edges look warped. This means curved TVs are terrible for families or group viewing. Only one person gets the premium experience. Everyone else gets a worse picture than they would on a flat screen. Wall mounting? Forget it. Curved TVs stick out awkwardly and look terrible mounted. They're also harder to install and require special brackets that cost more. Glare reduction? Complete myth. Curved screens actually create more reflections from different angles. That curve catches light from multiple directions across your room. And here's the brutal truth. TV manufacturers completely abandoned curved screens in 2018. Samsung stopped making them. LG stopped. Sony never even bothered. The technology failed in the marketplace. You can still find curved monitors for gaming. That's different. You sit close and centered. But for TVs, the concept died because it simply didn't work. If you see a curved TV on sale today, it's old stock. Outdated technology being cleared out. Don't fall for the discount. Bottom line, curved screens were a failed experiment. The industry moved on years ago, but feature 4 is still everywhere, and it's pure deception. Feature number 4, misleading refresh rate numbers. This is where TV companies use confusing marketing that doesn't reflect real specs. You've seen the labels. True motion 240, motion rate 480, effective refresh rate 240 Hz, clear motion index 960. Sounds incredibly fast, right? Here's what's actually happening. Those numbers aren't measuring the actual refresh rate of the panel. They're marketing terms designed to make specs sound more impressive. Let me explain how it works. A TV has a real refresh rate, either 60 Hz or 120 Hz. That's how many times per second the panel actually refreshes. That's the only number that matters. But manufacturers add up random features to inflate the number. They count motion smoothing. They count black frame insertion. They count backlight scanning. Then they combine everything into one big number. So a basic 60 Hz panel becomes true motion 240 or motion rate 480. It sounds 4 times better, but the actual panel? Still just 60 Hz. Why does this matter? Gamers need real 120 Hz for smooth gameplay. Sports fans benefit from true high refresh rates. But if you buy a TV advertising 240 Hz effective, you might be getting a basic 60 Hz panel with software processing. Here's how to spot misleading marketing. Look for the actual panel refresh rate in the fine print or specifications. Ignore any number with words like effective, motion rate, or clear action. Real 120 Hz panels will clearly state native 120 Hz or true 120 Hz. If the marketing uses creative language, it's not showing you the real spec. Bottom line, inflated refresh rate numbers are confusing marketing. Don't fall for impressive sounding terms without checking actual specs. But feature 3 uses similar tricks with processing power. Feature number 3, overhyped AI upscaling. TV companies slap fancy processor names on everything to justify premium prices. You've seen the marketing. Quantum AI Processor 4K, Neural Upscaling Pro, Cognitive Processor XR. Sounds cutting edge, right? Here's what's actually happening. Every modern TV does upscaling. It stretches lower resolution content to fit your 4K screen. But manufacturers realized they could charge more by adding AI to the name. Same technology, fancier marketing language, higher price tag. Here's the problem. TV companies over-process the image trying to make it sharper. They add artificial edge enhancement. They create fake detail that wasn't in the original content. The result? Your picture looks over-sharpened and unnatural. Faces get weird halos. Textures look grainy. You're not getting better quality. You're getting more processing. And here's what really matters: the quality of the panel itself. A great panel with basic upscaling beats a mediocre panel with AI quantum neural processing every time. You know what actually improves picture quality? Better local dimming, higher peak brightness, accurate color calibration, real hardware improvements. Bottom line, fancy AI processor names are marketing language. Focus on panel quality and real hardware specs. But feature 2 adds even more unnecessary complexity. Feature number 2. Excessive smart features nobody uses. TV manufacturers keep adding features that sound impressive, but end up completely ignored. Let me give you examples. Built-in fitness apps with workout tracking, art mode on non-frame TVs, ambient mode that displays photos and weather, voice assistants with gesture recognition, smart home hubs built into your TV. Here's how they market it. Turn your TV into a complete smart home center. Display art when not watching. Track your fitness journey. Control everything with your voice. Sounds convenient, right? Here's what actually happens. You explore these features once when the TV is new. Maybe you try the fitness app. You set up art mode for a day. You ask the voice assistant one question. Then you never use any of it again. Why? Because dedicated devices do accurately. A real digital photo frame looks better than ambient mode. Smart speakers like Alexa respond faster than TV voice control. And here's the real problem. You're paying for all this. These features add $150 to $300 to the TV's price. Software development costs money. Licensing fees for apps cost money. That gets passed directly to you. Know what most people actually use their TV for? Watching content. Streaming Netflix, playing games, watching sports. That's it. The 30 other smart features just sit there unused. Here's the worst part. These features often slow down your TV. More background apps running, more updates downloading, more things that can glitch or malfunction. Bottom line, excessive smart features add cost without adding real value. Pay for a great display and sound, not features you'll never touch. But feature 1 is the most misleading of all. Feature number 1. Fake HDR on budget TVs. This is the most misleading feature in the entire TV industry, and it's everywhere. You see the stickers, HDR 10+, Dolby Vision, HDR compatible, supports HDR content. The box makes it sound premium, but here's the brutal truth. Most budget TVs can't actually deliver real HDR. Let me explain what HDR actually requires. High dynamic range means brighter highlights and deeper blacks. To display real HDR, a TV needs at least 600 nits of peak brightness, preferably 1000 nits or higher. Budget TVs claim HDR support, but only reach 250 to 350 nits. That's barely brighter than standard dynamic range. The TV accepts the HDR signal, but it can't display it properly. What happens when you play HDR content? The TV tries to display it anyway, but without enough brightness, highlights look dull. Without proper local dimming, blacks look gray. Colors appear washed out instead of vibrant. You're watching HDR content on a TV that can't show you what HDR actually looks like. It's like playing a 4K movie on a 1080p screen. The file says 4K, but you're not seeing 4K. Here's why this matters. You pay extra for HDR capability. You subscribe to streaming services with HDR content. You think you're getting premium picture quality, but you're actually getting a worse experience than proper SDR would deliver. TV manufacturers know this. They put HDR badges on budget TVs because it helps them sell. But they're not lying technically. The TV does accept HDR signals. It just can't display them properly. Bottom line, HDR support means nothing without the brightness to back it up. Check peak brightness specs, not just HDR format compatibility. Those are the 8 features that waste your money. 7 Samsung TVs, $597 to $3,799. All